Let's bring in Congressman Doug Collins. He's a Republican from Georgia, ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, U.S. Senate candidate, off quarantine for a week and a half, I understand, and we are talking to him live from your house, right, Congressman?
That's right, Ainsley. I'm here this morning bright and early listening to the good news that the bill did get passed and that we're looking forward to getting that relief to President Trump's desk.
That's great. I was reading through some of the things that are in this bill. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. It's big, and it's coming to your hands soon. But I read that for small businesses, which is really important, that the package includes $349 billion in loans. And I love this. This just shows how great America is. Money spent on rent, payroll, or utilities is considered a grant, and those small businesses don't have to pay it back. Do you know much about this?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. Our staff's been going over this bill for the last few days. And this is important. When we first put this bill out, it was about a week or so ago, and we focused on making sure several things. Number one, our health care was taken care of. Our folks and our first responders were a part of that, our state and local governments, and our small businesses and people. That's what the focus of the president's been. That's what the focus of Republicans has been, is making sure we get relief to people so that, number one, businesses can keep people employed. We don't want them to have to feel like they just have to lay them off and shut their business down. We want to give them the relief that they needed. So if they can keep people employed, keep them off the unemployment rolls, then we can see our economy come back quicker. And that's what that's for.
That's right. And, you know, it cannot come soon enough. Yesterday it was announced that apparently the Cheesecake Factory, that great big restaurant that everybody loves to go to, they announced through their CEO apparently yesterday that apparently they cannot pay their rent come April 1st. And so this particular bill, which the House, which you're a member of, Congressman, will vote on, it sounds like tomorrow morning, it has passed the Senate. Here's the Speaker of the House talking about poison pills and things like that. Watch.
If we don't have unanimous consent, my two options with my members is to call them back to vote to amend this bill or to pass our own bill and then go to conference with them. The easiest way to do it is for us to put aside some of our concerns for another day and get this done. You can support a bill because if it doesn't do enough that you want to do, but that's what you can get. But if it has poison pills in it, then and they know certain things are poison pills, and then they don't want unanimous consent. They just want an ideological statement.
So, Congressman, that was a couple of days ago where Nancy Pelosi was talking about how you would vote on it. It sounds like they would like to do it via unanimous consent. However, AOC has already suggested she might have a problem with it. So it sounds like you're going to have to all go back in some fashion to actually do some voting in person, right?
Well, that's what it's looking like right now. There's still a lot of question about that but it will not be unanimous consent. It'll be a voice vote, and then people can have debate. People can go up and actually put into record or voice their concerns or how they want to do it, or they can have it put into the record how they would have voted if they could have been there. We've got some areas and people cannot attend, but it is sort of interesting over the last few days for Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, to actually talk about putting ideological pills in there. When they tried to put in the New Green Deal, they tried to put in a lot of different things that we knew was not going to be a part of this, but they just knew that this bill was going to have to pass, so they tried to. I'm glad to see she's overcome that, at least appear that this bill will come to the floor so we can get it to the president's desk.
Right. I mean, she's talking about herself, poison pills. She rode into town with 2 pages of poison pills, and she even got some of them in this thing. So for her to say there with a straight face without a laugh track is comical. Meanwhile, the big question is, will Steny Hoyer and others, Kevin McCarthy, say, I need you men and women back in Washington, or will you allow to do a voice vote on your phone or some way, a secure line? How do you see this going?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to voice vote over the phone. That's not allowed by our rules. The voice vote will actually occur. They'll call the vote, and it'll be a yay and nay, and people will be able to voice that vote. Now, there'll be debate time. You can come and put a statement in the record. Now, if someone calls for a recorded vote, then we're going to have to deal with that issue as well, because someone can always call for a recorded vote, which means that every individual would have to vote on their own, because we do not have the processes set up right now for proxy vote or for remote voting, and that's something that's been talked about a lot, especially when you got members like in New York and other places who can't leave from where they are anyway. So, again, this is going to be an interesting time over the next few hours to find out exactly how they want to do this.
Congressman,
And
let's
just to
talk
follow
about
up real quick, Congressman, on that, this is not going to be the last time you're asked to vote. You guys got to come up with a system, because there's going to be a fourth bill, fifth bill, and other things that got to be done, but it might be too dangerous for you to go back to Washington. So you guys got to come up with something that's better than the Iowa app.
Oh, we better believe it. I think that's one of the things we've been talking about a lot. There are things that we can do. There's proxy voting. There's also some other ways that we could actually do this. Many of us have been talking about that. Leader McCarthy has been very engaged in this. I know the others as well. So we need to look at this as we go forward. My hope, though, is this: after this bill, let's take a pause. Let's see what this is doing. Just like the 15 days the president asked for, this is now a stimulus that's going to get to the people that need to get it most: our businesses, our people, our hospitals. Then we can see where we need to go next. We don't need simply, as Pelosi and Schumer want to just rush into another spending bill. We need to make sure this is working and targeted just like the president and Mr. Secretary Mnuchin and others have wanted it, and that's what we need to do first.
Yeah, maybe y'all will be able to use Zoom or Skype to vote. We'll hopefully be able to navigate that as we get closer to the next vote. All right, let's talk about coronavirus in your state, in Georgia. We're seeing a sudden spike there. 1,387 cases, 47 deaths. How's Georgia doing, sir?
Georgia's doing as good as we can right now. The governor's taking precautionary steps. He's doing, I believe, to make sure that everybody understands down here what needs to happen. He's closed our bars and restaurants, making sure that we're keeping in track with what the federal guidelines are. But we are seeing it just like everywhere else. And there's certain hot spots that have seemed to pop up. But at over 1,300, we have 470 or over 400 hospitalized now. Right now, the curve seems to be slowing, just like what we have seen. Hopefully, that'll continue. But everybody's taking it seriously. One of the issues we're dealing with here is, of course, it's coming harvest season. We're making sure our workers are able to get our food supply out, our truck drivers to get that out to the stores. So Georgia is coping like the rest, but we're going to make it, and we're going to see this through because, you know, at the end of it, Ansel, we're all in this together, and we need to take care of each other during this time as well.
That is so well put. We got to take care of each other, and that's one of the things that has brought us all together. But at the same time, Congressman, and you're on the Judiciary Committee, it sounds like the Department of Justice is looking at people who purposefully infect others. And so here's a quote from the Department of Justice. Coronavirus appears to meet the statutory definition of biological agent. Threats or attempts to use COVID-19 as a weapon against Americans will not be tolerated. So it sounds like people could actually be charged if they infect others knowingly, Congressman.
I think it's great to see the whole government approach going on right now. The Department of Justice is making it very clear. If you want to do something, or if you want to inflict harm or psychological harm or even physical harm on someone with this virus, that they're going to be taken seriously. I mean, I've heard reports of people, you know, jokingly saying that they're coughing on people and I have the virus and they don't. That causes a fear right now that is unwarranted. And I think the Department of Justice is making it very clear. If you want to do something like this that hurts the American people, you're going to be in trouble.
Congressman, the other big story that we'll discuss throughout this 3 hours and throughout the day is the president really itching to lift the economic sanctions and the deadlock on the economy in sections that don't be severely infected. Has there been legitimate talk, bipartisan talk, about how to start opening up the economy again?
Well, I think the biggest starting up of opening the economy is this bill and getting the relief aid to the folks who need it first. I think this has always been, the president's done a great job of doing a two-pronged approach. Number one, looking out for the health and safety of Americans and making sure we take care of doing social distancing, doing the things that need to be done to keep the spread down. And at the same time, looking with an eye toward knowing that we're going to come out of this and that the economy needs to be in a shape where it can recover and recover quickly. So I think this is exactly the conversations that are being had, and this bill is the first step, along with the health and safety precautions that are being put in by the president and his team.
All right, Congressman, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. I'll have a great day.
You're welcome. You too.